Just half a year I stopped making progress and I got into this teenage kind of despair. What do I want from my life? Why do I live? What do I aspire to achieve? And I researched the topic on how to actually unstuck, if you know what I mean. And I realized journaling and asking yourself deep questions might actually help you. But I was at the time into meditating, really into meditating, to being more present. I was so excited about it. So I just decided to combine them. Why not? And well, I found a quiet, peaceful place. It was in my gazebo, just on the outside of my apartment. And I decided, why don't I just meditate, but think as if it was journaling. And I called it conscious meditation. And later I discovered that this thing already existed and it helped a lot of people. But at the time, I was just doing whatever I felt like. And it turned out to be great. I just spent half an hour a day, probably for just a few days, because it was so enjoyable for me to just sit and think about my problems, about what I really want from my life. It was absolutely fantastic. I got fixed from kind of a rut, middle of a rut. I just got out of it because I was genuinely now answering my questions. I wasn't running from them, I was facing them. It gave me so much power, and it made me progress so much faster that I couldn't even hope for that much progress in that little time. It was absolutely great, and I realized if I don't face my problems, I just waste my lifetime. All those weeks that I didn't spend 1 hour or half an hour literally doing nothing and thinking about my problems, asking myself a question, what can I do right now to start solving my problem? And for a long time I thought the problem was that I lacked knowledge. I didn't know what to do. I needed to research what business should I go on? Should I go to university? Should I drop out of high school? Should I more progress on my gym, or be more balanced, or be more unbalanced? You know, it's hard. It really is. And wandering mind and this unclarity first time when I started, it was hard just to sit with my own thoughts. I was just wandering around looking at some trees. It was still a great time, it was productive, but I realized it is a skill. It's something to be developed. So actionable step right now. First one. Pick a place, a quiet place inside of your house, or if you have such a mess as I do, like with 5 other family members in a tiny apartment, kind of tiny, go outside. Find a quiet place. I don't know, just grab some sheets and place it on the grass. Find a quiet place. Second step of this actionable step is pick a question, the one that bothers you, the one that truly was on your mind for a while now. And thirdly, just spend 15 minutes or maybe 30 minutes asking yourself a powerful question like, what can I actually do now after this session to progress? How should I do in this situation? And later on, just about a few months afterwards, I met a cool entrepreneur. It is a friend of my dad. He made a great business of online coaching, and not in a way we understand it, more like MLM, but anyway, he was in a club of a billionaire. It costed I don't know, $5,000 or 10 or something like that. Kind of huge amount. And that billionaire from Kazakhstan, he said to him that one of the greatest tools that separated him from millionaire and from just being kind of broke, like a few thousand a month or 10,000 in a good job that he had, was that Kaizen hour. He called the same thing, basically, conscious meditation, as Kaizen hour. And Kaizen is basically a Japanese term described and meaning that you should always strive for improvement. As small as they are, continuous improvement for the rest of your life, of the process of anything you do in life. Continuously learn, improve. It's great. And he just gave an incredible example that just stuck with me, how important actually being bored and being with their own thoughts is. Because he said, imagine one man, just an average man working 9 to 5, right? And he questions on a New Year's resolution, like 21st December, do I really want to work this job? Or maybe even better question, how do I want to improve my life? We probably all questioned ourselves that, right? But imagine now the other guy that asks this question every single freaking day. That's what that billionaire does. He says, 1 hour every day, without question, non-negotiable, I just sit with myself in a quiet place and think of how can I make my life better? How can I increase efficiency? How can I put more effort into whatever I'm doing? What do you think will be the difference between the first man who thinks once a year or the second man who thinks like 364 times more, or probably realistically 100 times instead of one? So every third day he thinks, what can I do to improve my life? The progress of the second man won't actually be, the amount of times he asked his question. It will be thousands, tens of thousands % better life than the first man. Just because he thinks, he puts his mental points into actually thinking, how can I be better? Because we all have this mediocre kind of energy, small dick energy stuff, like mediocre energy thought on our brain, just constantly kind of roaming around. How can I get better? It's kind of personality improve. That's my message. But the big dick energy is when you actually dedicate a specific amount of time to think on something specific. That's why I call it conscious meditation, because meditation is actually all about focusing on something specific, on your breath, as most people do, or on your environment, which is called, I don't remember, but it's kind of external meditation. And conscious is because you consciously put that focus onto things that matter to you. It's probably the highest MIT task for me even now. I wanted to kind of cope and say, yeah, I kind of already figured that, yeah, I don't need high school, I kind of don't study, I don't need university, I will go into my business, into my self-improvement and the gym, which is absolutely great. I still need it, and everybody needs it. Just think about people, of really smart people of the past, like, I don't know much names, but like Da Vinci, Einstein, Maxwell, Roosevelt, Lincoln, all of them, all of these intelligent people that changed the world for good, having less opportunities and having less lifespan. They literally lived up to 50, 60, like maybe 40, if you call, like maybe 30, a lot of people died at their 30s and they still lived a great fucking life. Why? Because I can literally imagine a man, this elegant man in hoods, sitting in his chair, just in front of a chimney, in a quiet room. It's a big room, yeah, it's a wealthy man, intelligent man. And he just does nothing. He just is with his own thoughts. Just allowing the creativeness and the new ideas to come in. Literally, Newton's law. Newton discovered the law and made life-changing progress for everyone by just doing nothing, sitting under the fucking tree. It's great. It's what gives us manpower, and it was actually separated us from the other species. The ability to be creative. And now what? Now we overstimulate ourselves with high dopamine activities like video games, like porn, like just messing around, just wasting our time. If you want to make quick, fast progress, you gotta face your own thoughts, your own problems. Let me just take a sip of water, please. Water is so great. I love it so much. You can imagine how much I like water. I won't even look at anything at all. I know it's scary. I know you need to take responsibility, and you also know that, right? Taking responsibility, taking risks. I was afraid of it too. It happens. I was also afraid of making hard decisions, of facing my own problems. But I just realized I am no average. I don't want to live like average people. So I need to act differently. I need to take risks. If there are no risks, there are no wins, literally. I can't imagine a world where a human being would sit in his chair and do something and not risk anything, not sacrifice anything, and achieve massive success. This stability is a myth. This balance is a myth. Successful people are in balance. They might be, and usually are, called kind of crazy, you know? Because they're so extreme. They're so after their dreams. After working hard. We want a better life. So we gotta take better actions than everybody else. That's it. Improve.